afternoon, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for today's Monday's musings, and I'm in between two different vibrations at the moment. I want to get myself comfortable, really feel into what's going on, but I also feel like I need to sit bolt upright and quite regal. And it's not about taking ourselves seriously this week, but lighter. There's been a real big shift. It's almost as if with this Sagittarius full moon that we've just had, that nothing seemed to be coming to completion, and then all of a sudden it was just there. And so much is lifting and so much is moving very quickly, but it does take awareness. It is going to take awareness, and it isn't awareness that we are perhaps used to for some. It isn't a external awareness, it's an internal awareness, but even that, it's beyond that. It's a applied, I was going to say an application then, but an applied physical human awareness. What is going on in our bodies? Holding space for that, feeling that, acknowledging that, being true to that, returning to that for the roots and the grounding that it provides. So that then this other higher energy, or what we would call Sami, can come in and meet the Hutcha. And in that awareness, and it is subtle, there is great shifts happening. However, if this week we get caught up in the nothing is changing, nothing is happening type vibration, we are really closing off that potential. How do we do that? By going into patterned thinking, going into patterned ways of being. And I really feel almost a stretching of the skull bones in my head as the crown chakra here tries to really open up, tries to stretch and allow more to come in. One of the themes this week is about what we receive, but not from others, from ourselves. I was having a beautiful conversation with a friend of mine today about artificial intelligence and the understandable resistance that is there, but also the recognition that it has been made by us, and being able to receive whatever it is we create this week, acknowledging that it is how we react with it, how we respond with it, that is going to be the real truth teller. Not blocking what we've created, not pushing it onto others, this video included, but receiving what you feel able to bring home within you now. So an example this week, and it isn't anything that we don't already know, that's the beauty of it, but it does feel more on a more, not even embodied level, human level. This week it really feels like it's our humanness that needs the recognition. Our ability to turn up and experience what we're experiencing for our soul, to have a life, to know what it's like to feel these things, and to have that compassion for our physical vessel and what it at times puts up with in the in the scheme of spirituality, in the scheme of creativity, in all of it, what the physical vessel actually goes through every time it creates and delivers something. The true, almost animalistic nature of artistic expression this week is going to come to light in how we react as well. So being mindful of that. Being mindful of that. It's not about attacking what we're creating. It's about receiving it back in ourselves. An example this week, I really felt a lot of love externally, and I felt myself, being triggered or glimmered by all the things that I love in life. And I don't know about anyone else, but the moment I get that inspiration, and that's what it is, it's an inspiration, whether it's something we see on social media, whether it's something we dream, whether it's something we feel, whether it's something that comes up in us as a result of something outside of us. Once we are inspired, I tend to straight away share, and that's beautiful. That I would never change that about me. I'm not advocating we change who we are. I'm advocating we take it to the next level by really seeing that and really feeling that. So this week and that makes my whole body vibrate, which is the next thing I'm going to speak of, this new energy trying to come in, although it's not new, it's very ancient. This week there were a few things that glimmered me that helped me to feel that love for people, that love for life. You know, little things like, it's the good old perimenopause, little things like sunshine and flowers that just really inspired me, really helped me to open my heart. And immediately there was this reaction of sending it out, which is beautiful. The guidance this week has been to receive it back first. Not even first, as part of that process, to acknowledge that we are part of the energy that we are sending it out to, whether that's positive or negative. Our consequences affect all of us, ourselves included. And being able to receive that, being able to be responsible with that, is really going to shift things. Because if we can feel what we share with others, that may change what we actually share. So allowing this love to come back to me, yes, there were times when I thought, shit, is this what I offer in healing and readings? And oh my God, I could very well have been my own block here. Again, nothing that I don't know, but that deep, more internal realization of that awareness, that subtle awareness this week is going to be key. How? By feeling it, by allowing it to come back home. And being aware of it when it does. So once this love came back, I started to direct it to all the parts of my body that ached, all the parts of my body that needed that love, that needed my own vibration. And that is the opportunity this week we're being faced with. The other thing that may come in as a result is what feels like a different type of vibration. For me, it's been very quick, very swift, very direct, and very Atlantean energy. And it started with a car. My husband had an accident this week, and thankfully everybody involved are okay. But we do need a new car, so we were given a hire car from now until we get a new one, or we, get the refund for our old car. And it isn't a spangly sports car or anything like that. It's just a car that's been made this year, a car that has been made from the technology that we already have. And that really feels like key, something that has been created with where we are, not where we used to be. Not even where we'd like to be, but where we actually are, to really acknowledge that, because it's impressive. It's impressive. And sometimes it isn't until we really look at something from a perspective of not having it that we see how impressive it can be, like the love, yeah? So this car, what it doesn't do, and it's probably old hat to everybody else, but for me, I was like, oh my God, really blown away from this car. It does the map in a computer screen, it calls people from the dashboard, it connects to your phone, it charges your phone, it can call emergency services, it turns itself off and on. You don't even need a key, right? The key is in the pocket and you just get in the car. Now again, I know there's going to be people everywhere going, well, yes, Kirsty, duh. This is what I'm saying. A lot of us are catching up with the energy that is available out there. For whatever reason, they haven't been able to experience it. So myself included with the car. And I sat in the car thinking, I want this. Not the car, not the technology, not even the money to buy the car, but the ease and grace, the swiftness, the light. It glimmered a remembrance within me, a simplicity, a direct focus, moving forward in my own vessel, a more innate connection. And for me, it was definitely Atlantean. And that is coming in. There is a quicker, swifter way of healing, a quicker, swifter way of manifesting coming in since the Sagittarius full moon. But it is going to take awareness of our body, our vessel, our car, our vehicle, how we move forward through that, and our ability to accept it. So, of course, yes, my initial reaction was, oh my God, I want a posh car that I can't afford. Okay, let's go into this. Oh my God, I want more money than I can't make it. Okay, let's go into this. What is it I really want here? It was easy. Okay, it was graceful. It just was. My whole screen just flicked then. We are being faced with that this week if we want it. I'm not downplaying people's stories. I'm not downplaying people's journeys, people's pain, people's circumstances. Far from it. I have no idea what anyone else is going through. And I know that if someone dare say to me, with the trauma and everything that I've experienced, let it go, there are times where I would tell them exactly where to shove their ideas and their values. What I'm saying is, if we're ready, that potential is there. Always has been, but it's going to be very, very clear this week. The other thing that's coming through is the ability to bridge where we are, where we're going, where we've been, the different versions of ourselves, bridging the different experiences that we've had and creating something different now, something new. An example, my mother and the women in the family have this incredible way, and the men have this incredible way of this incredible resilience, this incredible strength. Up you get, no matter what's going on with your vessel, your vehicle, your life, up you get. And it's a wonder to observe. And I've inherited that, and I can see that I've inherited that. But I can also see that there are times when that doesn't work for me. And for my own journey and my own ability to mother my own growth, I'm looking at how I mother and therefore how I create. And there is more compassion there, which I can feel supported from my ancestors. So this week, really feeling into any loyalty that you may have to ways that have been, to ways that have guided you, and what you may be asking to bring to the table to add to this incredible, incredible meal that is going to be handed down for generations to come. What are you bringing to the table to add? It's not about being the same. It's about being you. Which is the other thing that's coming back with all these different potentials. It's not like we're being asked to get rid of things. We're just being asked to bridge the fact that they're all versions of us. They're all parts of us. The Atlantean energy, yes, I'm an Atlantean practitioner, so I've trained in that, and I've trained in the angelic energy, but I've also trained in the shamanic energy. And for a long time, that almost split in vibrations within me was very evident everywhere that I went. I would go to angelic circles and teachings with my shamanic drum and shamanic teachings with my angelic stuff, and there was always a bit of a lag, a bit of a gap. That isn't the case anymore. That isn't the case anymore. And we are really being supported to bring together all the worlds, to bring together all the energies, to bring together all aspects of life. How? With ourselves first. With ourselves first. We cannot embrace different versions of what is going on around us if we can't accept that within. There is a lot of support out there, and don't be surprised this week if it's support from not unusual sources, but sources we may not have expected. An example today, I really felt myself on a vision quest as soon as I got up this morning, and I could really feel the veil between the potentials and the realms very, very thin. I'm always aware of what's going on anyway, but I was more acutely aware this morning, and literally I walk out my door and there's a tag from a pot plant, and the pot plant is called King Arthur. So I'm very aware of that energy, and for me it's linked to the horse at Uffington, it's linked to ancestry, it's linked to the Rose line, it's linked to the Knights Templar, which is a ancestral generational thing for me as well, and it is linked to travelling to Cornwall and linking to Merlin. And there's a lot of potential links going on for us. It has a great energy to it. It really, really does. But it also has an invitation of knowing that we can only carry so much. So what parts of our journey are we going to release? Not let go of, not get rid of, but with gratitude, now I know who I am for the next stage, in order to be able to move forward and carry that through. So is there anything else? I mean, not really. I can go into my own tales of the blocks that I have with my own masculine, and that's why it's this journey and and there are a lot of stories out there, and we will have our own versions of it. Doesn't mean it all needs sharing. Being mindful that we don't get caught up in the temptation to make it more than it is. Our journeys are fucking incredible. Our paths are amazing. The fact that we are born, let alone anything else, is like 1 in 400 billion or something ridiculous. And from a midwifery perspective, it is really hard to get to term and to be a healthy person, let alone anything else that happens after that. That's enough. Your story is enough. The fact that you're here is enough. So really deciding what parts you're going to take forward and ensuring that they emphasize the enoughness and how they may emphasize the enoughness and whether or not that still fits you. So I see in my mind's eye a snake shedding its skin, feeling quite not suffocated but constricted, allowing those things to fall now. Okay, so I'm just going to go straight in. I feel that in my root chakra. So getting out into nature, but finding the beauty. That's how we do it. We find the beauty and then we allow the beauty to return in our own wisdom. We must allow it to return. We must finish the cycle. Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of imagery going around in my mind. And that feels quite poignant, that we look at the pictures, the illustrations, the examples of our own narrative. Okay. And I could actually really go off and relax into that. There's an essence of daydreaming, right? There's an essence of daydreaming here and being able to dream whilst awake. And what I mean by that, we have the 10 of Pentacles at the bottom of the pack. What I mean by that, what I mean by dreaming while we're awake, being aware of what is going on, aware of where we are, aware of where we've been, aware of where we're going, but then also being able to bring in a far bigger dream with awareness, with wokeness, whatever you want to call it, but being on all levels present in the abundance of life that there is, and then dreaming from there. Okay, so energies this week. Pausing. So when we daydream, you know, I remember as a child always being berated for daydreaming, but when we daydream, yesterday I listened to some music and I just stared at the trees moving, and it makes it sound like I'm such a placid person, and I'm really, really not, to the point my husband actually come out and asked me if I was okay. That's how placid I am. But I was listening to some music and I started to daydream, and I was just looking at the trees moving. And when we daydream, when we focus on something and allow everything else to fall by the wayside, the body balances, the body heals, the body relaxes, and in that space what we get starts to come in. That guidance starts to come in, that intuition starts to come in, those images start to come in, those dreams. We're making space in our consciousness for other ideas to come in. I saw a most incredible thing, death and rebirth at the bottom of the pack. I saw a beautiful video today, and it's again obvious and not something that we don't know, but this man was speaking of change and how by slowing down things speed up. And I know that goes against the grain of what we believe life to be, particularly what we see around us, but no one's saying we have to sit and do nothing. It's about slowing our vibration down to a level that's right for you, and everybody's is different. Like musical notes in an orchestra, everybody's sound is different, but slowing down and finding your sound. Once you do that, yes, we call it alignment, yes, we call it universal law of attraction or whatever, but once we can come back into our own energy and knowing that it goes up and down, yeah, the volume goes up, the volume goes down, but feeling comfortable and direct in that is really going to bridge our potential this week. Okay, so energies this week and how to best navigate them. Don't get too caught up in what is going on. Don't get too caught up in the external stories as well. Literally, it feels like one day at a time, one foot in front of the other. I see the quote, I think it's by Sir Francis of Assisi, about taking one step at a time. One step at a time, yeah. Because otherwise we do run the risk of losing grip, losing focus. Okay. Yeah, and we have the Queen of Cups, but she's actually upside down. So I'm going to turn it up, right, and underneath is the Queen of Wands there. When we slow things down, Yeah, I think The Matrix. I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen clips of it. When we slow things down, we become so much more aware. People say to me, how can you see those signs on the van? How did you see that leaf? How did you slow down? I don't walk any slower. I definitely don't talk any slower, but my vibration, I've taken an alertness and turned it into an awareness. And we are really being given that potential this week to take a hyperdrive, advanced form of survival and fight or flight and really flip the narrative. There's a lot of people, a lot of us have had situations where we have had to be alert. We're now being encouraged to transmute that into aware. And there is a difference. The only difference is that we ground in who we are. We can't change the circumstances around us, but we can be solid in who we are and aware of it and trust our ability to respond rather than react, to flow. And that is there, but there may be things that need to be flipped, to be turned, ourselves included, upside down, to really look at where we're perhaps not flowing. So I laugh about the car this week, but actually it was quite a shock to feel into how uncomfortable I felt with this swift energy, knowing that it's my potential, but knowing that means I need to let go of the loyalty to some of the stories in regards to the old ways and hardship, and that it doesn't actually have to be that way, and that actually we can take the more denser 3D vibrations up as well. Again, nothing that we don't already know, but being aware of where we may be in the way of that flow. Okay, so energies this week and how best to navigate them. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Overall, so I immediately felt as if there was a parental energy, a compassionate energy, that we were all children. And to really see that this week, ourselves included. You know, there's times when we think, oh God, why haven't I gone through this? Why haven't I got past this? Why haven't I moved on? Why haven't I grown? Or can't believe I'm back at this situation. Seeing ourselves for the children of life that we are, regardless of our age. Age is a man-made concept. As a species, humanity is still pretty young in comparison to the planet. So credit where credit's due. You know, we've gone through so many phases of evolution, from being very expressive with our emotions to restricting them, to then coming full circle, being more, you know, open with how we feel, our connection to the earth, you know, technology, trying to find a way to incorporate all of these different things into life with compassion this week, seeing ourselves and each other for the young souls that we are. I know there's a big thing, particularly in the spiritual community, that we're all old souls. But even as old souls, in comparison to the earth, we're pretty damn young. Okay, in comparison to the energies that are out there to support us, we're pretty damn young. So keeping that in mind, particularly on the Monday, because we do have the Seven of Pentacles. The more compassion we can show for ourselves, the more compassion we're going to show for anything that we're creating through us as a result. This love malarkey energy this week, there's no point me berating myself going, oh God, I can't believe I don't love myself, or oh my God, I thought I'd done this, or oh my God, you know, force that love back in. It took gentility. There was no point me going over all the times I hadn't allowed it in. That was a gateway to get there, but the more I did that, the less I was vibrating and mirroring to what I was trying to bring in. So really being keen and aware of that on the Monday. Looking at the communication that we have with ourselves and the very things that we're creating. Are we in alignment? If we want peace, are we peaceful? If we want love, are we being loving to ourselves? If we want abundance, how willing are we to allow those energies to come in? What are we feeding our own growth with? Really, really looking at that on the Monday with compassion, with childlike eyes as well, with that innocence there, with that daydreaming type energy. Allowing time for things to grow as well. You don't plant a seed and keep digging it up to see how much it has grown. You allow that time, you have that trust in, yes, the seed, yes, the earth, yes, the soil, yes, the dreams that we want to manifest, but our ability to help them grow as well. And that's what's really coming under the light on the Monday, well, today on the bank holiday. On the Tuesday, we have our first major arcana, and it is the Magician. And for me, I do see Merlin here, and I do see the fact that there are other energies at play helping us to grow. So it's almost like as above, so below, but recognizing we are the below part at the moment. And there's no judgment there, but really embracing the power of what it is to be human, the power of what it means to receive inspiration and muse, and then to actually turn an idea. This is what we do. We turn an idea into something physical. That's really impressive. If we step back and really feel into that, that's really impressive. Whether it's a idea, we look at the sun and then we feel the warmth and then we decide to write a poem about it. Oh my God, that's magic. That's magic. And recognizing the magic that is available in everyday things, in everyday life, so that we can acknowledge the creators that we are. Is there anything else to add with that? Well, I just see this person looking right into the center of it all, being mindful of what they're doing, but staying focused on the center of it all. What's at the middle of it all? Yes, I'd love a new car that is swift and easy, and oh my God, the connection. So this video is going to take about 5 hours to get up, because yeah, the internet connection, and it's all first world problems, right, in comparison, but they're still problems. I would love the finances to be able to do all of that, but underneath it all is the swiftness. At the very center is that connection of ease and grace. So on the Tuesday, what's at the middle of it all? What's at the center of everything that you are manifesting? Well, ultimately it's us. So how aligned are you? How aligned am I to the swiftness and the quickness that is available? Not very, when I'm carrying stories that stand in the way of that. Being mindful of that on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, we get an opportunity to look at how often we get bored, how often we can be apathetic with the human experience, how often we are looking, this is on the Wednesday, towards other pastures. The grass is greener. I've done all of this. I don't want to clear up the leftovers. I don't want to be sat with all this emptiness anymore. I loved the thrill. I loved the chase. I loved the emotional enticement, the invitation here. Looking at what is going on around us is going to be key. So my eyes are drawn to the energy around this, which is the Nine of Wands, recognizing that we're coming to a point of endings in regards to what spiritually sustained us. So yes, the apathy on a human perspective is to be expected to an extent. What once sustained us no longer does, but don't let that get in the way of looking at what's actually being offered as a result. Here, sometimes I just think, oh, Kirsty, will you ever just be satisfied? Yeah, oh soul, oh spirit, can it never just be enough? And yes, in that moment it is, but it's also perfectly natural and normal for me to think, what else? Because I'm here and I want to live life. Finding a balance with that this week is going to be key, particularly on the Wednesday. Finding a balance with being present, but also holding space for potential as a result of that. On the Thursday, recognizing that any defensiveness merely just stunts our own light, that it is our light that is the boundary, the barrier, the line that needs to be drawn. Really here, in order to mend fences and build bridges, we must recognize the Chicana that we are, the bridge that we are, the light that we are, the center of it all. For those that have done the Moonai Key or that recognize the Inca cross, smack bam in the center, in the middle of the Taurus, it's our energy, our light that comes down through. So standing firm with that on the Thursday is going to be key. And it's going to bring to fruition, that's the word I want to say, bring to fruition anything that now not stands in our way, but can help us just step over where we were into where we are going. Throughout the week, there are ups and downs of energies. There are peaks and troughs of energies. So there are moments where there's real obvious growth, and then other moments where emotionally we can feel quite stunted. And that can lead to spiritually almost having to push our way through, or believe we have to push our way through here. And there is something there with the peaceful warrior, you know, with the Arthur-like energy coming through, recognizing when the masculine and the feminine work together, when the Templar type energy and the Rose lineage energy works together, things unfold beautifully and naturally in a creative way. But that takes patience and that takes time. And on the Friday, we are being asked to hold space for this emotional, I want to say it is emotional discernment. I was going to say disappointment, but it isn't a disappointment. It's a discernment here. It isn't, oh, I wish that would have been different. It is discerning why would I have had that expectation in the first place? If we're going to get defensive, if we're going to be righteous in what it is that we want, that starts with us first. And that's going to take time and patience, and that is going to take on the Friday an opportunity to really feel into any voyages we may wish to go upon, who we are in the world. Okay, so yes, we have a camper van here, and yes, we have the globe, and yes, we have the opportunity of travel on the Friday, but more importantly, think of the world card here. It's one thing to look outside and see the vision quest. It's another thing to really go within and find the path that is now calling you. On the Saturday, speaking of paths, we have the Hermit, the second major arcana. Yeah, there's two major arcanas this week. The second major arcana, linking it back to our childhood. I'm really feeling a draw to go back to my roots, to bring forth that power, that energy of the child. There is a trepidation there, knowing that I'm returning to places that weren't always that comfortable, but there's a knowing that my light has grown since then. There's a understanding that in order for me to truly see that, almost having to, or being invited to re-experience certain situations from a more endured perspective. Only when we recognize where we've been can we truly see how far we have grown. Yeah, only by really taking a moment to connect to that light can we allow that to guide us forward. So this week it feels quite poignant that anything that comes up will be starting to go into that 9 year. So being aware of anything, particularly on the Saturday that rises and the Sunday and the Sunday that rises, it will be that energy that will be asked to be looked at from halfway through the year at least, but definitely from 2025 onwards. And what is it? That's the Five of Pentacles. It's the endurance that we have brought upon ourselves with these stories. You know, it's the endurance of recognizing that the key has always been there, much like my car, in our pocket, in our body. Yeah, that it is up to us to open that door. It's up to us to look up to the light that we have now become. Over the weekend, we will be given insights into that. So overall, the energy that we have is the Eight of Pentacles, and that's where I kind of feel a little bit, come on, I want to bring it all together. And it is related to our work, and it is related to the things that we believe we do, okay, that we're out there doing, but obviously recognizing that they are a reflection of us. And just like our growth, our work takes time to grow as well. Everything has a soul, including our career, quote unquote career, our relationships. Everything has a soul and a season and a cycle. So recognizing where you are in your own part of that. You know, just like the moon above, are you waning? Are you waxing? Are you full? Are you new? Really feeling into where you are at your stage right now. So that when things do come up that may feel as if they're the same, you're not creating the same thing. You're doing it from a place of growth. You're doing it from a place of recognition of, actually, I've done this. Actually, I'm ready to move on from this. Actually, I've got all I need to get from this situation. So what I'm really feeling here is the energy can be incredibly quick. Of course it can be quick, just like the magician. The support that is coming through can be very quick, provided we don't bog the waters down emotionally with other stories. It can be quick if we say, actually, yeah, it will only be as quick as our reaction to it. So an example of the car. I could have stayed in the car yesterday and thought, oh my God, this is a money thing. Right, I need to heal my wound with money. Oh my God, this is a body thing. My body doesn't work the way that I want it to. I need to heal my body. Oh my God, this is a technology thing. Da, 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 da. Actually, what's at the center of it all? You want the energy to be quick, cut through the shit. What's at the very center of it all? What, not the fertilizer, the seed. What was planted, and for some many, many years ago? What was planted? What was this growth all about? I mean, I can look back over my own, and there's been changes in work, there's been changes in my health, there's been changes in my home, there's been changes in my desires, there's been changes in my childhood. Yes, I can look back and see all of that. So at the very center, what was it about? Well, for me, it was ease and grace and reconnecting to my feminine. Find what it was all about. What was the seed that you planted? Because it's all connected. Okay, so breaking it down, because I'm aware we're 35 minutes in, we have two major arcanas, the Magician and the Hermit, and it feels really important here. I started to feel my energy drain and wane, and that comes from going over the same things. So is there anything else to add here? Well, that's up to us to figure out this week, and that is done by going within. That is done by taking time, taking stock, seeing where we're actually at, and then creating from there. That's what the universe is suggesting this week, and the support is there for us to do that. We then have, put in there, one cup card. Okay, so what gets in the way of that support? Our own emotional dissatisfaction, our own emotional apathy, our own tendency to want things before they have occurred, to not nurture our emotions. It's that actually leaves us apathetic. Now, I know it can be uncomfortable to feel into frustration. It can be a real, oh God, pain in the proverbial. However, if we feel into the frustration and without trying to fix it, without trying to work out what it's all about, but to genuinely feel it, again, that energy that's coming in takes mere awareness, mere feeling it, without getting involved, without making it more than it needs to be, and watch it move, watch it flow. See yourself for the incredible vessel of this emotional intelligence that is shifting and changing naturally, already occurring. If you feel apathetic to what your body can do, that's a you thing. Go back into your body and see what it is doing in every moment without you even realizing. I really feel that clenched up under my solar plexus as well. So there's something there with our own divine will and divine timing and divine power. If we don't recognize what's going on in each moment and take that awareness of our own body, it can really feel, and I'm 100%, it can really feel as if things have taken so long, too long actually. But if we feel into where we were and feel into where we are, we'll recognise where things have shifted and recognise where things have changed. Or if not, we will be offered something completely different from that angle of being fully embodied in what we're experiencing. There's a big difference between knowledge and experience. And experience comes from, knowledge and wisdom. And wisdom comes from the application of experience. So what are you actually applying for now in your experiences? What do you want to gain from where you are now? Okay, so from that perspective, that's almost like a soul invitation here. We have two wand cards. We have the Two of Wands and the Nine of Wands, and there's no point being defensive to that. There's no point being defensive to this recognition that we almost have to take time and stock and realize where we are. What do we want to gain? What do we want to see? What journeys do we now want to embark upon? And allowing time for our soul to go, okay, I hear you. This is X, Y, and Z. This is the next step. So today, or most days actually, I will go for a walk and be very much show me. And yeah, that does mean I am more aware of things that are going on my path, and I am more aware of the light that is available, and I am more aware of the signs and the synchronicities. I saw a beautiful thing today talking about coincidences and how we've really got that messed up, how we see coincidences as a weird thing that happens outside of us, and oh my God, that's like, wow, so coincidental. But the word coincide means to work together. acknowledging that this week, all these coincidences, these synchronicities have all been part of it. So when we really feel into that, when we feel into the recognition that things that have been created around us that we merely shrug off as coincidences are actually part of our doing, there's that energy, right? Opening our heart and allowing that to come back. And it's that, in regards to the Pentacles, that's going to give the most physical growth here, by recognizing where we have grown, recognizing the work that we have put in, recognizing not from a, oh God, look how bad things are, but look how bad they were, or look at what I've achieved here, or look at how much I have perhaps bloomed, blossomed, healed, worked hard. You know, really acknowledging here with the Three of Pentacles that growth, that creativity, that inspiration comes from us. It's up to us to keep that alive. It's up to us to see what is actually going on. It's up to us to become the gardeners of our own landscape. Yeah. And underneath we have the Five of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. So it is about balance this week. It is about as above, so below. It is about asking for what we need, but also investing in that. How? Letting go of what stands in the way. Releasing it, giving it back to the earth. There's those cups, right? Giving it back to the earth now. Allowing her to use it for the fertilizer that it is. Take care. Have the most incredible week. And I shall see you next Monday. Take care.